Yo guys, what's going on and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our Premier League predictions. I know I'm a week late, but it's still really early on in the season where we can have a prediction put in place. If you guys see up here, that's my follower goal for Twitch. I would love for you guys to follow that channel and I will have a link down in the description below. Let's get into it. So to begin, let's get the teams that we already know where they're going to end up out of the way. Like we already know Arsenal will win the league again. I mean, if you just look at the way they played their first game against, well, who was it? Coventry. They won respectably 3-0, even though it was against a team that just got promoted. I think that will carry on throughout the entire season. Aston Villa is a very unique team because I think they might finish fourth or somewhere in the Europa League. They lost Morgan Rogers. I think that is sort of a big blow for them. And there's news that Martinez is going to Chelsea. Those two big transfers that are going to go away from Aston Villa will be a huge loss for them, and so I see them finishing, I would say sixth is a good place for them. Bournemouth, let's see how their first game went. They lost 2-1 to Man City. I still think they're gonna reach the Europa League, and I'll put them fifth, so just above Aston Villa. Brentford. Ooh, yeah, I remember the game. They won 3-0 against Tottenham. Honestly, Tottenham will have a similar season to how they had it last year, and since Brentford had a sort of easy opponent for the first game, I can't put them really high up just yet. So I'll come back to them, because when you think about it, you kind of know who the champions are. You kind of know who the teams who are going to go to the Champions League are. Kind of even know the bottom of the table. This middle portion where the Europa League all the way to the higher mid-table is just a bunch of teams that can be placed in any order. I really liked how Chelsea played their first game, so I want to put them third. I honestly thought Man United were going to get third place, but just the way they lost their first game against a team that got promoted was completely unacceptable. I know you have your moments in the season, but like considering how big Man United are, that sort of mistake should never happen. So I'll put Man United in Conference League. I know many people would be shocked. Many people would say like, oh, it's so early on in the season, but like that first game, you know, where you have the juice, you know, you want to perform well the first game, and you got what, 2-0 against Hull City. If you lose like that to a team that just got promoted, I'm sorry, you just don't deserve to be in the Champions League. You might as well be in the Europa Conference League. For 7th place for Man United is disappointing, but from what we've seen, it's acceptable. I know Man City will get second, just behind Arsenal. I think these two teams, Arsenal, Man City, are gonna have like a dogfight, just how they had it last season. So Arsenal first, Man City second. I'm gonna put Liverpool fourth. I think they're gonna have a better season than last season, but I think Chelsea is put themselves in a place with a new manager, couple new transfer signings, that they can actually make a push and finish top 3 in the league. And that means Liverpool would be 4. So we have the top of the league set until place number 7. Now this bottom portion, or where it's higher mid all the way to relegation, is very, I'd say, interesting, because you have a group of teams that can be placed in any order except from the relegation. It's easy to put the teams that got promoted this year in the relegation zone, but from what I've seen, and I think how the teams will play this throughout the season, I think these teams will get relegated. So that's what Hull City, Ipswich, and Coventry. This can be in any order in my opinion. Now comes the tricky part. Tottenham. I want Tottenham to do well every year. I'll put Tottenham higher mid at 8th place. That is pretty good considering they were in the relegation battle last year. But I'm tempted to bring Bournemouth down and place Man United in the Europa League, and then bring Bournemouth into the Europa Conference League. This move I think is better. Sunderland, I think they're gonna have a worse season than they did last year. I think last year was kind of an outlier. You know, a team that just got promoted into the Premier League has that motivation to perform well. Even though they did perform well, I don't see that continuing into this season. I know there's been rumors that, you know, Jack Grealish may be, you know, heading over to Sunderland, but that's not enough for them to do better than last season. So I'll put Sunderland at number 9. I'm really interested to see where Leeds end up, because if I'm not mistaken, Leeds, so they finished 14th. That's pretty good for Leeds. I would honestly think that they end up somewhere similar this year as well. I would put Leeds at number 13. I think they have a better season than last year. I just think it's going to be more or less in the same ballpark. Forest. You know, Forest is a really interesting team because 2 years ago they performed really, really well. And then last year seemed like a down year for them. They finished 16th. I would think that this team also ends up in the similar standing position as well. So I'll just put them below Leeds at 14th place. That is subject to change. Newcastle's also one of those teams that, you know, had a horrible, like atrocious last season, but I don't know if that carries over. Plus they did lose Gordon to Barca. That may be a big loss for them, like a really big loss for them. So if I put them in the higher mid-table, I think if I put Newcastle number 8, Tottenham number 9, Sunderland 10. You know what, I could even put Tottenham at the end of the higher mid-table just to have place them at number 12. I think that might be better. Fulham, I honestly like the team, so I would put them, let's go 12. So what's that? 8, 9, 10, sorry, 11. Let's put them 11. Everton 12. At this point, these three teams, I can put them in any order. So these three teams are the bottom place team. So I'll put Brentford, Brighton, Crystal Palace. Does that sort of align with how things went last year? Brighton finished number 8. Ooh, Brighton finished number 8. I don't know if it's a complete disrespect to Brighton, but I think Brighton may have a down year. But I think this is pretty low for them. It is pretty low for them. So I think I'll put them in higher mid-table. Tottenham, and bring Everton down to lower mid 13th place. That pushes Leeds down to 14 and so on, right? Forest goes down as well, Brentford and Crystal Palace. I am pretty happy with this list. So we can say that Arsenal are going to be champions again. I know a lot of people are against that, and you know, honestly, I don't want Arsenal to win either. I mean, I'd rather see a different team win. I'd rather see Chelsea win this year. I don't know. Arsenal are a different team this year just because they have felt that winning moment. So I think they'll be able to win this year. I think it'll be like last game of the season determines who wins the league. I'm pretty happy with this list, I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of people you will like disagree with my list, but at the end of the day, it is my opinion. But that concludes my Premier League predictions for this season. See you guys next time.